So child's pose is where we're going to start out, and that's really going to help release a lot of tension in your low back. So when you start out here, sometimes, especially if you've been doing stuff all day, especially working at a desk or sitting, you're going to feel kind of limited in your child's pose. So you always have the option to take your knees a lot wider, and that should give you more space to kind of sink down into it. Also, you can rest your forehead on your forearms. You can stack your forearms and put your forehead there. And that makes the posture a lot more spacious. So if you feel stuck in it, it's just not relaxing, maybe open up the knees, rest your forehead on your arms, okay, and go from there. And that might allow you to soften up into it more easily. And take some time just lengthening your breath. We're just going to pay attention to how deep we can make the inhales and how complete we can make the exhales. So as you breathe deeply this way, what's happening is you're moving all of the tissues of your torso around, okay? You're spreading extra space into your rib cage and your belly and your low back. Your whole entire back and your spinal column is getting a great massage from the inside. So the bigger your breath is, the more benefits you can get, the more tension you can release in that back. Allow your face to relax a little more with each breath. Imagine that your hips are a little heavier with each second that passes. See if you could notice your low back getting a little longer here. As a matter of fact, after a minute or two in your child's pose, you might be able to walk your ribs a little further forward and set them down again. Okay, take a little time here also to just notice how you're feeling today. Notice what your body is experiencing. Notice where you feel this the most. Notice the character and the color of your thoughts without getting caught up. Just observe. And let's play around with a little breath pattern. Okay, so we're going to think of doing a really slow 4-count inhale, a really slow 4-count hold at the very top of your inhale, slow 4-count exhale, and then a slow 4-count hold at the bottom of your exhale. So here we go. Inhale completely. Take in as much as you can and then stop and take in a little more, and hold. And let's exhale completely. Compress your belly and your rib cage. Squeeze it all out. Squeeze some more out. Some more. Hold. Inhale completely. And see if you can take a few more rounds like this. I think you get the idea. Okay, the idea to completely fill, completely empty, and then hold in between. it gives us a little different perspective of what the breath is and how it works. And it gives us something different to observe. What do you notice about the spaces between the breath? What do you notice there? What's different? Let's bring it back to more of a normal breathing pace, okay? Still slow, still very intentional. And we'll start to cultivate a little side bend here. So with your arms long out in front of you, walk your hands over to the right. Okay, until you feel that left side opening up nicely. Ground your forehead and start to move your left hip away from your hands. So we're feeling big opening along that left side of your low back, your rib cage, your armpit. Okay, so you can stay just like this, or you can go a little deeper and add a twist here, okay? If you slide your left arm under your right, like you're reaching out perpendicular to your mat, flip that left palm up and drop your head, then you've built a little twist, okay? And you have some options here. Try to keep your neck long, keep that left shoulder down. And if everything's going great, you can reach up with your right hand and start to kind of pretend like you're trying to open your arms wide. And remember to breathe deeply. So notice how this feels in your rib cage and your back. Maybe you drape that right arm across your back and see if you can grab onto your left thigh. You can kind of tuck it in between your thigh and your body, your torso. And maybe deepen the twist a little bit more. Remember to breathe deeply in your twist and have a long spine. Maybe one more breath, okay? And unwind yourself out of this. And let's take it through center and over to the other side. So hands over to the right now, our hands over to the left. Make a nice opening across that right side. So you'll feel when it's just enough, drop your forehead and start to pull your right hip away from your hands. Nice big breath into the right ribs, the low back. And if you feel a spot that feels tight, imagine you could send your breath to that spot and breathe into and out of it. Okay, that being said, feel free to add your twist here. So if you want that, you'll be sliding your right arm under your left. You think of dropping your right shoulder, dropping your right ear. Okay, flipping that right palm up. And then perhaps you stay right here, okay, for a little while. Just noticing maybe the back of that right shoulder is getting a good peeling open here. Perhaps that left hand reaches up and you kind of pretend like you're trying to hug the ceiling, opening your arms wide. You might even want to drop your left hand across your back and see if you can grab your right thigh. Between your thigh and your torso, you can kind of slide your hand in there and then maybe deepen your twist even more. The more rib cage movement you have here, the better. Okay, friends, let's untangle ourselves, come back out of this, back through center. Okay, from here, walk your hands all the way back up by your legs. So come up to a seat and just sit over to one side and find a nice comfy seat. Okay, you can take any kind of cross-legged position that you like. Okay, I'll give you an option to consider. So first of all, any seated position that might feel uncomfortable, you can probably make it more comfortable if you slide a pillow or a blanket underneath your hips to make your hips a little higher. Okay, so you always have that option. But try this little seat. See if you can tuck one of your feet in very close to your hips so that the bottom of your foot kind of flips up and the knee points to the side. And then you can tuck the other foot in just the same. Okay? So take your time kind of settling into that. Get your hips nice and grounded equally. So equal weight in the right and left. And close down your eyes. You can rest your hands on your knees. And feel that your tailbone has a slight tuck in it. Your belly button pulls back slightly. Your low back is rising very strong and long up out of your pelvis. And that rib cage balances perfectly over your hips. All right, slide your shoulder blades down your back a little bit so your chest gets a little bigger and prouder. And then complement that with a little tuck in your chin. Okay, could you keep this really long and lifted posture, this very intentional alignment? Okay, try to keep the top of your head pointed up and your tailbone pointed down. Now here's our challenge. Try to take your rib cage and move it a little bit to the left. Now move your rib cage forward. Now move it to the right and move it back. So if your rib cage was a glass of water, you would be trying not to spill it, okay? And kind of revolving it over your hips. So take a few rounds just like this, very carefully moving that rib cage around. Okay, notice how this feels in your back. Notice where the control to do this comes from. And let's rewind it. Bring it back around the opposite direction. Keep that glass of water from spilling. Okay, go ahead and bring your rib cage revolutions back to center, okay? Just rest them right there. You can keep your eyes closed. I'll try to just use my words, so you only need to look if you have to. Okay, take your nose and point the tip of your nose at your right shoulder. And then tracing a rainbow shape in the air, point the tip of your nose up at the ceiling for half of a rainbow and down to your left shoulder for the other half of the rainbow. And then let's take the rainbow back the way we came, back up and over to the right. Okay, we'll take a few more rounds like this, nice and slow, up and to the left. Take it up and to the right. So hopefully this feels nice in your neck. Keep going. Do your best to keep your shoulder blades low. Maybe 3 more times in each direction. Releasing tension on the sides of your neck, massaging the back of your neck. Okay, next time you come back up through center, we're going to leave it right there. So just bring your head back to a neutral position, okay? And then we're going to rearrange our legs. So pick up your right foot, okay, and take it to the outside of your left knee. Okay, and you might need to move your left foot out of the way so that you don't sit on it, because we want to make sure that we sit the hips down equally. So that right hip, we might need to put a little extra press down in it. Okay, take a little time, just sitting up nice and tall, and then we want the left arm to hold that right leg. Okay, we're going to look over the right shoulder. So use your right fingers behind you to push the floor down, get a little longer on your spine. We'll take a few breaths here, looking over that right shoulder, expanding the space on the whole right side of your chest. And then see if you can notice on the back side of the left shoulder. What do you notice happening back there? Okay, if you want to deepen this, you can move this left elbow to the outside of the right knee, and you can press a little bit more. Make sure to keep that spine long. And make sure you're using big inhales in your chest and really big, strong exhales in your belly. Massaging all your organs. Maybe one more breath and this nice twist. And then let's bring it back through center and switch sides. So now if you take that right foot and put it back on the floor, we'll take the left foot to the outer edge of the right knee. Okay, make sure that left hip is on the ground. Okay, use your right arm to hold your left leg and then really squeeze it in towards your chest. So hopefully that feels nice in that outer hip as well. Okay, so twisting, we want a long spine, big exhales. So we want to really use this twist to massage all the back body, all the front body from the inside. And that's going to give us some really good space to release tension and open up and balance things. If we want to move a little deeper, right elbow to the outer left knee, and you can really get some great twistiness that way. Remember to use that breath. Right, as you're ready, untwist yourself from this position. Okay, kick out your legs here. Give them some windshield wipers maybe. And then next time your knees point out to one side, let's flip it over to hands and knees. So come on through. Just gonna get some gentle cat-cows in. So gripping your mat, elbows pulled inward, belly button strong in towards your spine. Pull that heart forward for your inhale. And push the floor down for your exhale. Okay, so right here we have a great opportunity to release so much tension around the rib cage. So in your mind's eye, find the little sore spots, the tension around your ribs, maybe between your shoulders, and roll into them. So make this kind of kind of weird and sneaky. Roll sideways into it. All around. Okay, more often than not, you'll hear some pops and cracks as things redistribute, and that's okay. Okay, next time you come up through a flat back, pause right there. Let's pick the right knee up and circle it out. I'm getting the hip a little bit more awake. Okay, keep the hips level for now. We'll open that hip up in a moment. But before we do that, let's level them off, circle it out. Rewind that. Okay, now open it up. Pick the hip up. Big circle. And rewind that. All right, let's send that right knee forward and then pause. Go ahead and drop the right foot outside the right knee. Okay, let's move the left knee back a little bit and we can rock and roll hips forward and back for a moment. Okay, we want to open up the back of the right leg a little bit. Front of the left hip. Okay, and then settle back into that lunge. Okay, so here we are in a little low lunge. Use your right knee to press up and come on up. So keep in mind, if this is ever too much, you can always just drop your hands under your shoulders and just come down, okay? And it's still a lovely lunge. It's not cheating, okay? But if everything's going great, let's put a little bit of activity into the leg. So this is really gonna help release the low back, okay? We're gonna drop a lot of tension out of the back of the right leg, the front of the left, okay? And we're gonna get some shoulder movement while we're at it. So big shoulder circles here. I want you to make big, extreme, complete range of motion circles with your shoulders. So remember to keep breathing. I like to inhale when I'm going up and exhale when I'm coming down. And the whole time, you're gently activating your legs against the floor. Just enough activation. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Let's rewind the arms, take them back the other way. Okay, next time your arms are behind you, pause. Interlace your fingers and move your hands away from your body. So breathe here. Resist that floor just enough. Okay, maybe one more big breath right here. And then release the hands down underneath your shoulders. Boom, boom. And we're gonna pull back on this right hip. Okay, now you might come down onto your fingertips here so that you have longer spine. Okay, just gives you more space to keep the spine long. But put a really good flex in the right foot. Kick down into that right heel and pull back on the right hip. So you're feeling the whole back of the right leg release, okay? And if you really pull back, you might feel it in your IT band on the side of your thigh and even your glute and outer hip. Okay. So take maybe 1 or 2 more long, slow breaths right here. If you really flex that foot, you can get a great calf stretch. All right, my friends, let's get that right foot back on the floor, okay? Plant the left hand firmly underneath your left shoulder, okay? And we're gonna reach up with the right hand. Take a big twist here. Big breath in. And as you exhale, dive underneath that left arm. See if you can reach as far as you can. Let's do it again. Big breath in, reaching up, spread open your chest. Big exhale, reach under. One more like that. Big breath in. And exhale, dive it under. Okay, now from here, reaching that right hand up, go ahead and pause here, okay? Just kind of experiencing and appreciating that big space across your chest, okay? Nice twist here. You can hang with the left knee on the floor, okay, the back knee on the floor. Or if you want a little bit more opening for that left hip, you can lift the left knee up and make that quad nice and strong. Wherever you are, let's take one more big breath right here. And then we're bringing it back down, okay? Drop the back knee, drop the top hand. Let's get this right foot back to hands and knees. And then take a moment here. You can put your toes together, set down on your heels, and take a little child's pose moment just to check in. Take a few breaths here. Notice how you're feeling. Breathe deeply into your back. And as you are ready, we'll do the other side. So come back up to hands and knees. And we'll get the left knee up. And we'll circle it out, keeping the hips level at first. So it's a little bit different when we kind of restrict ourselves without lifting that left hip, but that's okay, just notice that. Let's rewind it. Okay, now we're gonna open up the left hip, pick it up, big weird circles, make it super big. And rewind them. Okay, bring that left knee forward and then drop the left foot outside your left hand. And we're gonna move the right knee back a little bit, just so you're just a little more comfortable on that right kneecap. And we can bring the hips back and forth here a few times. Okay, starting to feel out. How's the back of the left leg feeling? About the front of the right? Okay, bring it back into this little lunge, okay? So using this low lunge, we're gonna press up on this left leg and we're gonna get some great release in the low back. Okay, believe it or not, a lot of the tension in your back is coming from your legs, okay? So you can always come down, okay? But if you're feeling pretty good here, let's get some shoulder circles. We're gonna warm up all that shoulder tissue. Big breaths. Remember to put a little bit of gentle engagement down into your legs. So the legs are pushing down. And let's rewind that shoulder circle. Okay, the next time your hands are behind you, interlace them. See if you could do it the opposite way that you did last time, the one that feels a little bit weird. Okay, that's the one we want. Go ahead and move the hands away from you and press your legs down into the floor. Big breath here. What if you lifted your chest a little bit? What if you pulled your belly button into your spine? Big stretch across the front of your shoulders and your chest. One more nice big breath here, okay? Release it. Drop your fingertips down underneath your shoulders. Okay, and we'll rock the hips back here. Let's put a really nice flex in that left ankle, okay? So the more you flex your ankle, the better it'll allow the back of your leg to open up. Okay, that hamstring, the calf, they hold a lot of tension. So give them a nice chance and pull back on the hips. Do your best to keep a long spine, even though it's challenging. Okay, notice if you feel more release on the inside or the outside of this left leg. And notice if that's different from the right. Okay, it's always good to gather that information. And then we'll drop back down into that left foot. So back into a lunge. Plant firmly in that right hand. And we'll begin to twist. So reaching up through your left hand. Take a big breath in. Think of spreading open your chest. And as you exhale, reach the left hand under the right arm. So you're feeling the back of your chest, the back of your rib cage open up. Feel all that. Inhale, open up the front of the rib cage. And exhale as you open up the back. One more, just like that. Big breath in. And big exhale. Now let's reach it up and hold. So come on up. Reach up. Hold this twisty lunge. Okay, we can keep it really gentle by keeping the back knee down, kind of keeping the posture soft. But if you want some more opening in that right hip flexor, okay, maybe you're you're going to lift the right kneecap nice and strong. But wherever you are, keep breathing. Remember that bottom elbow needs to be a little bit soft, okay? One more breath right here, yogis. Let's bring it down. The back knee comes down. The top hand comes down. Back to hands and knees again, okay? And from here, just sit your hips over to one side again. Okay, and we're going to flip it all the way over to your back. So roll all the way down to your back. Okay, take your arms out into a nice little cactus shape. I'm giving a little bit of press down against the floor. Okay, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. But point all your toes up. And let's give some ankle circles here. Okay, so maybe circles. We go both directions with the circles, and then try some figure eights with your ankles. Okay, make sure you reverse your figure eights. Okay, and I like to do ankle circles until I feel warmth in the calves and the shins. So once you feel that they're a little bit warm, go ahead and bend both knees just a little bit. Cross your right leg over your left, okay? And then you have the option to tuck the right foot behind the left and double cross, okay? And we'll just hover the legs on one side and hover them on the other side. So let's take a few more rounds, just gently twisting, wringing out, side to side. Remember to breathe. Okay. I like to inhale through center and exhale to the side. Okay, so the next time your knees move over to the left, let them fall all the way down. And you can use the left hand to grab a knee and give it a little press downward if that is working well today. Okay, but look out to the right. Okay, think of grounding that right shoulder blade big time. And even as you ground your right shoulder blade and breathe deeply, think of lifting your chest. Notice how that really opens the twist up for you. Okay, and we want big inhales, we want big exhales. One more breath here. Feel that belly moving, feel the rib cage moving. And let's bring the legs through center. Okay, uncross them here, untangle them, stick them all up in the air again. We'll take a few more ankle circles. Okay, and then we're crossing left leg over right this time. So you can single cross at the knee, double cross at the ankle. It's up to you. Goalpost or cactus arms, and hover your legs side to side. Okay, remember to look away from your knees so that you get that full twist all the way up and down your spine. Notice if it feels different crossed this way than it did the other way. And the next time your knees drop over to the right, let's let them fall over there. Fall all the way, okay? Let's maybe use those right fingertips to press down in the top knee, okay? Look over to the left. Ground that left shoulder blade, and then start to lift your chest as you ground the left shoulder blade. Breathe right here. Big inhales. Strong belly exhales. Maybe one more big breath here. And then bring the legs back through. Untangle yourself again. And extend your legs and arms into Shavasana. We made it. Okay, so now this is where you just let go. Let the breath return to its natural pace. Let the body completely soften. Okay, let gravity just pull you down. Maybe a gentle smile rests on your lips as your jaw hangs open. And become aware of the character and color of your thoughts now without trying to change them or control them. Just observe with compassion and fascination. Allow yourself to be here, experiencing this moment and every sensation that you can collect. And so please give yourself some time to just rest in this way and enjoy being in this moment. Okay, this is the only moment we have. It's the only one. And thanks so much for taking care of yourselves. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you today.